blog entry 101, and that is from January 9th of 2023. Today in meditation, the large group of angels who share this space with Krishna were busy doing their work, transforming and adjusting the meditation space. This ongoing transition shifts the feeling from bliss to purification, and at times the purification can become quite intense before cycling back to a more blissful state. It feels as though the space is meant to be both challenging and beyond full understanding, as if its purpose is to strip away comfort and push me deeper into faith. Krishna is present, yet at moments it feels as if he is distant, or perhaps the illusion itself becomes stronger, making the experience uncomfortable and testing the material energy, that is. I sense that all of this is helping me develop more faith in this space, the meditation space, while also learning to fully inhabit my body and remain present in the moment, here and now in the material world. This morning, the angels shared a little about their work, but reminded me that they do not have time to explain everything. There is an ongoing process of establishing a working relationship with them, a partnership of sorts, though they know and perceive far more than I do, and will continue until significant changes occur within me. So what's happening here in this blog entry is, in my meditation space, I'd always had like a really strong sense of control for a long time. I could soul travel pretty easily. I could move things around, shift things around, make it like I wanted it to be, zoom around, go hang out with Krishna. Like, it was a lot of freedom, but that was spiritual, and that was right on the cusp of material energy and divine energy. And so what they're having me do is, as I move closer to Krishna, they're having to restructure it more into the divine energy. So in a way, in talking about meditation spaces, it's sort of like learning how to walk again in that meditation space. So everything was changing a good bit, but so it took a good bit of faith. It took a good bit of just being and existing and allowing everything to flow the way Krishna wanted it to, rather than me being able to be like, oh, I want a blue house on a hill and a convertible and a waterfall and a unicorn and a rainbow, right? Rather than me guiding it, it was just moving into a place of allowing and sitting with Krishna and what Krishna wanted in that kind of way. So it was a big transition for me. And so as far as the angels saying that they couldn't explain everything, I would always be, if something came up and I didn't really understand it, my first initial response would just be to say, no thank you, and then go back to focusing on Krishna and not really get engaged, because it is really easy to get distracted. And when you focus your devotion, like focusing just on Radha and Krishna, it deepens the relationship. Or if you just focus just on Jesus, or whoever you focus on in your divinity when you're growing that way, sort of think of it like other humans around you. When you meet a human that you really like, right, and you become friends, and then maybe you start dating, and then you have a relationship, you're really focusing a lot just on that one person, because you feel the most, and you feel the most moved to focus on that one person. So it works the same in your devotion, and it's amazing the depth and how much further you'll go in your growth as you just focus your love and your emotion on whatever resonates with you the most. For me, it's with Radha and Krishna. So as I focus all of my time and devotion as much as I can with Radha and Krishna, it really makes a huge impact on your divinity and your spiritual growth. Yeah, so the more you can do that, the better it will be, for sure. It's just incredible. Night and day difference. Okay, so here we go. I'll continue. I also feel it's important to note, I need to think and feel deeply about what the angels say rather than just following blindly. At the same time, it's not it's best not to create conflict or fuss with them within the meditation space. Yeah, that doesn't go well. There is a balance of trust, discernment, and surrender being cultivated here. Here's another point I would like to make too. So for the longest time, I was overall in general pretty detached. Not more so than most people, but not completely detached. That's why I'm still working on stuff on this end. But so what I would say is whatever pleases you the most, Krishna, is what I'll do. And that went for a long time. And then at one point, Radha and Krishna came in, and their words were much better than mine, but here's my words for it. They're like, we don't really want a robot, so we want you to interact, we want you to think about it, we want you to decide, we want you to be engaged in actively processing what we talk about and choosing which of these things you'd like to do the most. And so now I've changed it to whatever pleases them the most. And it may be one is a little more than the other. And then there's been a few times where it didn't really matter between the two decisions. But it was interesting because I think at that point when I was trying to do better with the surrendered aspect of devotion and connecting with God, I was able to use that more sense of detachment than the average person in general to do that to a certain point. But then at a certain point, they're like, no. So, no, you need to pick now. And it was really cool. It was really nice. I was like, yeah, they don't really want robots. So that's awesome. All right. I hope you all found that amusing as I did. But I found it quite interesting for a while. Because in the detachment thing, when you're practicing it, you're like, oh, maybe you should just have a robot, when the ego flares up and I didn't understand why it was such a struggle. Yeah. All right, well, sorry for such a post. Sorry for it being so long. Have a great rest of your day, and like and subscribe to the channel if you have a chance. Appreciate you a lot. Have a great day. Bye-bye.